A grieving mother collapses after coming face to face with her daughter's killer.
You're a monster. I hate you. I hate you. You're a piece of.
Looks like they might have been tied to something. They might have been tied to something. Yeah, they hit the water and they're gone.
Elizabeth Puel Arellano was born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. She was 28 years old. She attended Diamond Hill Jarvis High School, where she met Rodolfo Montes Arellano. The two began a relationship as teenagers. By 2016, they had been together for approximately 13 years. They had 4 children, a daughter aged 10 and 3 sons aged 4, 7, and 12. Elizabeth worked as a medical assistant at an ear, nose, and throat clinic in North Richland Hills. Her stepfather, Fidel Galvan, later described her as someone who was devoted to her children and her family. In the weeks before her death, the relationship between Elizabeth and Rodolfo had deteriorated. Elizabeth had communicated to family members that she intended to file for divorce because of abusive and controlling behavior of her husband. Elizabeth moved out of the home she shared with Rodolfo. She went to live with her parents. Rodolfo remained in their shared home. On the evening of April 15, 2016, Elizabeth finished her work shift and joined a group of colleagues for a happy hour gathering. In the early hours of April 16th, the exact time is not specified in public records, Elizabeth called a friend. She said she had arrived home safely at her parents' house. That was the last verified contact anyone had with her. When Elizabeth's mother checked her room the following morning, Elizabeth was not there. Her bed had not been slept in. Her mother went outside. Elizabeth's car was parked in front of the house. The keys were in the ignition. Her purse was on the seat. Her cell phone was in the car. Elizabeth's mother contacted Fort Worth police and filed a missing persons report. What Elizabeth's mother did not yet know was that officers had already been to Lake Worth. In the early morning hours, shortly after 3 a.m., fishermen near the Interstate 820 bridge over Lake Worth had called 911. They reported what appeared to be a body in the water.
Looks like they might have been tied to something. They might have been tied to something. Yeah, they hit the water and they're gone.
Officers responded and recovered the body of a woman from the lake. She was wearing medical scrubs. A rope was tied around her neck. Attached to the rope was a 119-pound block of concrete constructed around a wooden fence post. When Elizabeth's mother filed the missing persons report that morning, officers informed her that a body matching her daughter's description had already been found. Elizabeth Puel Arellano was identified as the deceased. Fort Worth police initially classified the incident as a possible suicide. The case was referred to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office for an official determination of cause and manner of death. The medical examiner's findings did not support a suicide classification. The official ruling was homicide. The cause of death was drowning. Fort Worth police investigators stated publicly that they believed Elizabeth was alive when she was thrown from the bridge. The weight attached to her, 119 pounds of concrete encased around a wooden fence post, was consistent, in investigators' assessment, with an attempt to prevent the body from surfacing. Fort Worth Police Sergeant Joe Loffman stated to reporters that detectives believed the weighting of the body was deliberate concealment. The case was reclassified. A homicide investigation was opened. Homicide Detective Jay Cedillo was assigned to the case and documented the evidence in an arrest warrant affidavit. Investigators began canvassing the area around the parents' home where Elizabeth had been staying. According to court documents, Rodolfo Arellano was believed to have been waiting outside the house for Elizabeth to return from her evening out. A neighbor, Diana Ramos, was interviewed. Ramos told investigators that she had seen Rodolfo in the area near the home on the night in question. Ramos later said she had also observed him sitting outside drinking beer in the time after Elizabeth's disappearance.
A next-door neighbor who didn't want to be seen on TV says the day after Elizabeth Arellano was killed, Her husband sat in a pickup in his driveway playing music and drinking beer.
This account was included among witness statements gathered by detectives during the investigation. Investigators then turned to two additional categories of evidence: electronic records and physical material. Cell phone records for Rodolfo Arellano were subpoenaed. Location data derived from those records placed his phone in the vicinity of Elizabeth's parents' home during the early morning hours of April 16th. This directly contradicted the statement Rodolfo gave to police. He told investigators he had been at home the entire night and had not seen Elizabeth. The phone records showed otherwise. Investigators executed a search of Rodolfo Arellano's vehicle and home. Inside his truck, they found remnants of concrete material. The material was consistent in composition with the concrete block recovered from the lake, the same block that had been tied around Elizabeth's neck. Additional fragments of the same construction were found at his home. The concrete had been built around a wooden fence post. The same type of fence post construction was present in the recovered material. Police stated that the rope and concrete used had been taken from Rodolfo Arellano's property. Three independent categories of evidence now linked Rodolfo Arellano to the scene: a neighbor's statement placing him in the area, cell phone location data contradicting his alibi, and physical material in his vehicle matching what was used to weight Elizabeth's body. Investigators reviewed footage from surveillance cameras in the area around the Interstate 820 bridge over Lake Worth. The footage captured a vehicle in the area of the bridge during the early morning hours of April 16th, 2016. The vehicle was identified as consistent with Rodolfo Arellano's truck. Additional surveillance footage from cameras near Elizabeth's parents' home captured the same vehicle in the area around the time Elizabeth would have returned home from her evening out. The person connected to this vehicle, identified through registration, the physical evidence, and the cell phone records, was Rodolfo Montes Arellano, Elizabeth's estranged husband. On April 26, 2016, 10 days after Elizabeth's body was recovered, Fort Worth fugitive officers located Rodolfo Montes Arellano at a convenience store and took him into custody. A capital murder warrant had been issued.
Elizabeth Arellano was found with a rope tied around her neck, her body weighted down with a boulder. But her husband has now been arrested and charged with capital murder. Before he was arrested, he was posting on social media about helping with her burial. Fox 4's Phil Alvarado near the scene where she was found with more. Phil.
Hi, Steve. It was about 3:30 in the morning on April 16th. A couple of fishermen were on Lake Worth when they heard some screaming and then saw what looked like someone falling off the bridge into the water. It looked like the 28-year-old mother of four had jumped off the Loop 820 bridge over Lake Worth. At least that's what everyone was supposed to think. Elizabeth Arellano's mother, Juanita Galvan, says in Spanish she forgives the person who killed her daughter because she doesn't want anger in her heart. She won't speak her son-in-law's name.
She was a great mother. She was a great daughter, a great sister, a great aunt.
We want to stay focused on the memory of Elizabeth, known as Betty, and stay focused on the kids.
Her family says they'll take them in, but they miss their mother. The person everyone says was the glue of their family is gone.
Somebody must have seen something, because there's always somebody out there, you know, and if they did, somebody seen something, please come forward.
This is how she would want us to be together and, you know, taking care of, you know, watching her babies.
And Fort Worth police are actually asking the public, anybody else who may have seen something that night that looks suspicious, they're asking for them to come forward.
Well, Doug, this family is grieving, but they're also on a mission. They are rallying to raise the couple's 4 children, but they also want North Texans to know that Elizabeth's life was so much bigger than how she died.
She was a lovely, lovely mother. I want to say a lovely daughter.
To the world, she was Elizabeth Arellano, a murder victim whose body, bound with rope and a concrete boulder, was pulled from Lake Worth.
Everybody you met will tell you, my sister always had a great smile on her face. I mean, she was on top of all of us, constantly. She was like a mini mom to us too, you know, so that was her. That's why she was the glue to the family.
The couple has 4 children, ages 4 to 12. But family members insist they have not been orphaned.
I have 3 kids, now I have 7. We're all gonna come together and we're all a family, my sister Alejandra, and we're gonna take care of those kids. They're our priority right now and they're our main concern.
Elizabeth.
Rodolfo Arellano was 31 years old at the time of his arrest. In questioning, he maintained that he had been at home on the night of the incident. He denied having seen Elizabeth. He denied any involvement in her death. That account was contradicted by the cell phone records, the surveillance footage, and the physical evidence already in investigators' possession. Rodolfo Arellano declined to give further statements. Rodolfo Arellano was charged with capital murder. The charge encompassed both the killing of Elizabeth and her kidnapping, which prosecutors established had occurred prior to her death. The Tarrant County District Attorney's Office sought the death penalty. The case proceeded through the Tarrant County court system over the following 2.5 years. In January 2019, Rodolfo Montes Arellano entered a guilty plea to the charge of capital murder. As part of the plea agreement, the death penalty was removed. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Sentencing
Elizabeth's
took place
family
at
said
the
they
Tim
took
Curry
comfort
Criminal
in knowing he
Justice
would
Center in
never,
Fort
ever
Worth.
be released.
2 of Elizabeth's sisters and stepfather delivered victim
Johanna,
impact
Elizabeth's
statements
sister,
directly
gave an
to
emotional
Rodolfo
victim impact
Arellano.
statement.
You robbed all of us from being able to enjoy the wonderful and beautiful human that she was. She will never get to see her kids grow up. She will continue to miss out on all the holidays. She will miss out on all the high school graduations, her future grandchildren, and most important, the right to live to be happy and enjoy being the great mother that she was. How dare you? How dare you take matters into your own hands?
The children cry often. They miss their mother very much. He took her away from them, and now he will spend the rest of your life behind bars, wondering what would have become of them. Hope you right here. Thank you.
One brought a photograph of Elizabeth. The other told him he was a monster and that she would never forgive him. Elizabeth's family took custody of her 4 children following her death. Prosecutor Elena Bangs stated after sentencing that the guilty plea had brought the family a measure of closure. She said Elizabeth's family understood their daughter could not be returned to them, but found comfort in the certainty that he would spend the remainder of his life in prison.
The family of his wife a chance to face him in court after he pleaded guilty to that crime.
A grieving mother collapses after coming face to face with her daughter's killer. He was also confronted by the victim's furious sisters.
She lived for those kids. They were her world. And we're going to continue to talk about her every single day like we still do, and remember her and keep her memory alive always, always.
Rodolfo Montes Arellano was remanded to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Under Texas law, life without parole means no eligibility for release. As of the date of this production, Rodolfo Montes Arellano remains incarcerated in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. No additional suspects were identified. The case is considered closed by the Fort Worth Police Department. Elizabeth Arellano's 4 children were minors at the time of her death. Her family continues to care for them.